Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. You ready to get into the mind of Warren Buffett today?
Always excited to learn from the best, right?
Right.
The Oracle of Omaha himself. We've got a great Bloomberg interview to dig into today.
Yeah, this one's packed with insights. Not
Yeah.
just about investing, but about his whole journey. Business life, lessons, the works.
It's amazing what you can glean from just one conversation with someone like Buffett, right? We're going to unpack those golden nuggets, those timeless principles you can use in your own life, whether you're in finance or just figuring things out.
Totally. And one thing that really surprised me right off the bat was that Buffett wasn't always this finance whiz. He didn't even want to go to college initially.
Really?
Yeah, he wanted to jump right into business.
Yeah.
Had a pretty impressive nest egg already by age 20, over 2 million bucks in today's money.
Talk about an entrepreneurial spirit.
Right. But his dad, a huge influence on him, encouraged him to go the academic route. First it was Wharton, then Columbia.
Yeah.
And that's where he met his investing idol, Benjamin Graham.
Ah, the father of value investing. It's like fate intervened, right? Seriously. Makes you wonder how different things would have been without that connection.
Totally. So at Columbia, Buffett really dove deep into Graham's philosophy. It's all about finding those hidden gems, those undervalued companies with tons of potential.
And this isn't about chasing the latest hot stock or jumping on trends. This is about seeing value where others don't. Graham called them cigar butts. Not the prettiest, but still some good smoke and lift.
Love that analogy.
Yeah.
And Buffett was all in on this idea. He practically memorized Graham's book. It wasn't just about theory for him. It was inspiration, pure and simple.
He really got it. It wasn't about making a quick buck. It was about recognizing real worth that others were missing.
And that's a key takeaway, understanding a company's intrinsic value. You have to look beyond this stock price, dig deeper into their business model management, long-term prospects, the whole picture.
Okay, so picture this. Buffett graduates, all fired up with knowledge, ready to take on the financial world. Where do you think he goes?
Wall Street, right?
Nope. He sets up shop in Omaha, Nebraska.
Omaha, oh, what?
It's not exactly the finance capital of the world, right? But Buffett was never about following the crowd. He wanted his own space, a place to focus without all the Wall Street noise.
That's so important. Creating the right environment for your goals. He knew what worked for him and didn't get distracted by the hype.
Exactly. So he starts these small partnerships, handling everything himself. 11 sets of books, all managed by him.
Wow, that's some serious dedication and attention to detail.
For real, it shows you how much he valued understanding the nitty-gritty right from the start.
A valuable lesson in itself, right?
Yeah.
Knowing your stuff inside and out, not just relying on someone else's analysis.
Absolutely. And over time, these partnerships evolve into Berkshire Hathaway, his main platform for acquiring those undervalued companies.
And here's where that long-term thinking kicks in. He wasn't about flipping stocks or playing the market. It was about owning those companies and watching them grow.
Playing the long game, it's not about the quick win, it's about sustainability.
Exactly. Finding those companies with solid foundations and potential for lasting growth, that's where the real value lies.
Okay, let's talk about some of his signature deals because these really showcase his style. Take the Washington Post. He saw an opportunity there that no one else seemed to grasp. The company was worth way more than its stock price suggested, like 4 or 5 times more.
Classic Buffett spotting the hidden value that others missed.
He had this way of looking beyond the market's perception, right? He talked about investing as assigning yourself the right story, understanding the company's narrative, not just the numbers.
So it's not just about data. It's
Hmm.
about understanding what makes a company tick. What's their story? What's their potential beyond the balance sheet?
Exactly. It's like seeing the bigger picture, connecting the dots, and figuring out the heart of the business.
You have to understand the industry, the competition, the leadership, everything that drives their success.
And one deal that really highlights this is the Precision Cast Parts acquisition.
Yeah.
Massive deal, $37 billion. And get this, he didn't even use investment bankers.
Seriously. That's bold even for Buffett.
It shows you how confident he was in his own due diligence, in his ability to assess the risks. He was willing to bet big when he believed in the long-term value.
That speaks volumes about the power of in-depth research. He didn't just skim the surface. He dug deep, understood the ins and outs before making a move.
And that's something we can all learn from, right? Whether you're investing millions or just making decisions in your own life, that thorough research pays off.
Absolutely. It's about minimizing risk and maximizing your chances of success. And that applies to everything, not just finance.
So that's a wrap on part 1 of our deep dive into Warren Buffett. We've covered his early influences, his investment philosophy, and a glimpse into some of his most impactful deals. But there's so much more to uncover. Stick around for part 2, where we'll explore his philanthropic endeavors, his views on taxes, and much more.
Can't wait to dive back in.
Okay, so we've seen how Buffett thinks about investing. But there's another side to him that's just as important, his philanthropy. This guy's not just about building wealth. He's giving it back in a big way.
Right, the Buffett Foundation, the Giving Pledge with Bill Gates. He's using his fortune to make a real difference in the world.
It's not just about writing checks, though. He's got this whole philosophy behind it. He once said, money has no utility, time has utility. It's like a whole different way of looking at things.
Really makes you think, doesn't it? Time is our most precious resource. It's not about how much money you have, it's about how you use your time to make an impact.
And that ties into another piece of advice he's famous for. Find the job you'd do if you didn't need a job.
That's powerful.
Oh.
How many of us can say we're truly passionate at our work?
Yeah.
That's what he's talking about, aligning your work with your values, with your purpose.
It's about finding that sweet spot where your skills and your passions intersect.
Right.
Easier said than done, I guess.
For sure. Life throws you curveballs. Sometimes practicality has to come first.
It's all a journey, right? Speaking of journeys, let's talk about Buffett's views on taxes. He's made some waves by saying that his secretary pays a higher tax rate than he does.
Yeah, that got people talking.
Yeah.
It brings up the whole issue of income inequality and fairness in the tax system.
Buffett's been a big advocate for something called the Buffett rule, which would ensure that millionaires and billionaires pay at least the same tax rate as middle-class folks.
He's even said he wouldn't mind having a tax named after him as long as they've used up all the disease names.
He's got a sense of humor about it, but he's serious about contributing his fair share, supporting a system that works for everyone.
It's an interesting perspective for sure. It highlights the role of government in creating a stable and prosperous society.
Yeah.
And the fact that even someone like Buffett sees the importance of collective responsibility.
Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about the Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting. It's become this legendary event that people flock to from all over the world.
Let's Woodstock for investors.
Totally. It's amazing to think how it's evolved from those early partnership meetings with just a handful of people. Now it's this massive gathering where investors, business leaders, even regular folks come to hear Buffett and his partner Charlie Munger share their wisdom.
They're like rock stars in the investment world.
And it speaks to their ability to connect with people, to break down complex ideas in a way that everyone can understand. Buffett's known for his wit, his down-to-earth style. It's part of his charm.
He's a natural storyteller and a teacher. And remember, he said he never set out to build a company as huge as Berkshire Hathaway. He's always been more about taking things step by step, making smart choices, letting the results speak for themselves.
It's a good reminder that you don't always need this grand master plan, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's about focusing on the present, doing your best, and letting things unfold naturally.
Absolutely. And when you think about it, that lines perfectly with his investment philosophy: patience, discipline, consistency. Those are his guiding principles.
It's not about trying to time the market or get rich quick. It's about slow, steady growth over the long haul.
And speaking of doing things differently, there's that recent acquisition that made headlines. Buffett bought this Israeli company for billions without ever setting foot in the country. He didn't even see it in person.
Talk about trusting your gut.
Right. It shows you he's willing to look beyond the usual suspects to find value where others might not even be looking.
He's not afraid to break the mold. It's like he's always learning, always adapting, staying ahead of the curve.
And it brings us back to the core of his philosophy, value investing. It's not just about finding cheap stocks. It's about understanding what a business is truly worth, its potential for growth, its ability to generate value over time.
It's about tuning out the noise, the daily market fluctuations, and focusing on the fundamentals.
Exactly. And having the patience and discipline to stick with your strategy even when things get crazy.
Remember, Buffett's in the business of owning great businesses, not timing the market.
That's a key distinction. It's not about trying to outsmart the algorithms.
Yeah.
It's about finding companies with solid foundations, strong leadership, a sustainable competitive advantage.
Companies that you understand, that you believe in, that you can see yourself holding on to for the long haul, even through tough times.
It's where that right story idea comes full circle. It's not just about crunching numbers. It's about understanding the narrative behind the business, their mission, their values, their potential to create value for their customers and shareholders.
Seeing the big picture, connecting the dots, having that conviction in the long-term prospects of the company.
That's what separates the great investors from the rest. They can see the forest for the trees, cut through the clutter, focus on the fundamentals, and make decisions based on a deep understanding of the businesses they're investing in.
And that's what we've been trying to do in this deep dive into the mind of Warren Buffett.
We're not just looking at his specific investments, but trying to extract those timeless principles that we can all apply to our own lives, whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting out.
It's been a fascinating journey so far. But it's not about copying Buffett's every move. It's about understanding the thinking behind those moves. He's not about chasing quick riches. He's about building lasting value.
And that's something we can all apply to our own lives no matter what our goals are. You know, that right story analogy has really stuck with me. He used it to talk about investing in companies. But what if we flip the script and apply it to ourselves? What's your story, listener?
Ooh, I like that. What are your unique strengths, your passions, those hidden talents you might be overlooking? Those are your undervalued assets.
It's like Buffett finding those cigar butt companies. They might not be glamorous, but there's hidden value just waiting to be unlocked. Maybe you've got a side hustle that could become your main thing, or a skill you could turn into a thriving business.
Instead of chasing trends or trying to keep up with everyone else, what if we focused on building our own Berkshire Hathaway of skills and experiences?
It's about investing in yourself, playing the long game, creating a life that's not just successful, but truly fulfilling.
So as you go forward, think about Buffett's dedication to learning his patience, his focus on the fundamentals. Apply those principles to your own journey. Do your research, make informed decisions, and don't be afraid to think long-term, even when it comes to your personal growth.
Who knows? You might just uncover some hidden gems within yourself that lead to a richer, more rewarding life than you ever imagined.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Warren Buffett. We hope you've walked away with some valuable insights and inspiration to apply to your own journey. So we've covered a ton of ground in this deep dive, right? It's been quite a journey through the mind of Warren Buffett.
It really has. And it's not just about trying to replicate his every move. It's about understanding the principles behind his success. You know, his long-term vision, his focus on value, his patience.
Exactly. It's not about getting rich quick. It's about making smart choices and building something that lasts. That's a lesson that applies to all of us, no matter what our goals are.
You know that right story analogy Buffett uses for investing? It's really powerful. What if we take that and apply it to our own lives? What's your story, listener? What are those unique strengths, those passions, those things you might be taking for granted?
Oh, I love that. It's like those cigar butt companies Buffett loves to find. They might not be flashy, but they have hidden value just waiting to be unlocked.
Exactly. Maybe you've got a skill or a talent that you haven't fully explored. Maybe there's a side hustle that could become your main gig, or a dream you've been putting off.
Instead of chasing the latest trends or comparing ourselves to others, what if we focused on building our own Berkshire Hathaway of skills and experiences?
Investing in ourselves, playing the long game, creating a life that's not just successful, but truly fulfilling. That's what it's all about.
So as you go forward, remember what we've learned from Buffett. His dedication to learning his patience, his focus on the fundamentals, those are the keys to success in any field.
Do your research, make informed decisions, and don't be afraid to think long-term, even when it comes to your personal growth. That's how you build something truly meaningful.
Who knows? You might just uncover some hidden gems within yourself that lead to a more fulfilling and rewarding life than you ever imagined.
And that's what Warren Buffett's story is all about.
All right.
It's about finding that hidden value and nurturing it over time.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Warren Buffett. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and inspiration along the way. And remember, it's not just about money. It's about building a life of purpose and meaning.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.